we are going to talk about adding mixed numbers. Our last video was about adding and subtracting just proper fractions. Today we're going to continue and we are going to study mixed numbers. So our learning target today is I can add mixed numbers. Please write your I know, the date you're watching this, and we have no vocabulary today. So pause the video while you get all that written down and restart when you're ready. Mixed numbers, we are going to start with an example, and our example is going to be 7 1/3 plus 11 1/3. Keep it kind of simple to start, just so that we can see how this works. Okay, if I want to do 7 1/3 plus 11 1/3, there is a rule here that we're going to follow, and the rule is that first we're going to add the fraction parts, for which we need a common denominator. After we add the fraction parts, then we can add the whole number parts, then we combine. Okay? So the first thing I need to do is add the fraction parts. The fraction parts are 1/3 and 1/3. So I'm going to start by adding 1/3 plus 1/3. Just like in our last video, we just add the numerators and leave the denominator the same. So my denominator stays 3, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Now I can add my whole number part. My whole numbers were 7 and 11, so I'm just going to do 7 plus 11, which gives me 18. Now my last step is just to combine those things. So I have 18 and 2/3, which combined just gives me 18 and 2/3. That now is my answer. Okay? So to do a couple more of these, to show you some of the things that can happen. For the next one, we're going to do 7 3/5 plus 1 4/5. Again, we are going to follow the same steps. First, we add the fraction parts, okay? So for my fraction parts this time, I have 3/5 and I have 4/5. Well, 3 plus 4/5, that's 7/5. If I turn that into a mixed number, because I always want to do that, that gives me 1 2/5. Now, I've only added my fraction parts here. I still need to add my whole number parts, the 7 and the 1. So I'll still do that. 7 plus 1, that equals 8. The final step now is to combine. So I have 8 and I have 1 2/5. So to combine these, I add the whole numbers together, giving me 9. And my fraction part just goes there. So really what I'm just doing is I'm breaking this down into 2 addition problems and combining my answers. The problems you get are not always going to give you a nice common denominator. So let's look at one example without a common denominator, because just like all adding fractions problems, you still need a common denominator. So let's say I had 1 3/4. And I have 3 1/2. As previously, the first thing I want to do is add my fraction parts, which are 3/4 and 1/2. But to solve these, I actually need to find a common denominator. So I need a common multiple for the denominators 4 and 2. I see right away that 2 actually goes into 4. So to get a common denominator, I can just multiply by 2 here and leave the 3/4 alone. So this leaves me with 3/4 plus 1 times 2 is 2/4. Adding those together, 3/4 plus 2/4 gives me 5/4. And turning that back into a mixed number, since it's currently an improper fraction, 4 goes into 5 once, and it leaves me with 1/4 left over. That was my fraction part. Never forget that after you take care of the fractions, we still have to deal with the whole numbers. So in this case, our whole numbers are 1 plus 3. If we add 1 plus 3, we get 4. And the last step of all, which is just combining them. I have 4 and I have 1 and 1/4. Combining that, I get 5 and 1/4. And that is it for adding mixed numbers. Please feel free to rewatch any parts of this video that you need. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, and have a great day.